Hello, it's Ryan Benbridge from Mortgage Introducer here, and I'm here with Ian Bowden from Lendinvest. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Great event, really good.
So it's a year on since the PRA affordability rules came into place. How's that affected things?
Yeah, it is a year on, you're right, just a year on, and obviously those changes came off the back also of a series of taxation changes that have also really taken effect during the course of the last 12 months. So we see this as evolution in the market, and there's no doubt that over the last 12 months what we've seen is a real shift towards professional property investors. And that's very much why Lendinvest itself entered the buy-to-let market just 12 months ago to support those kind of professional property investors. Just to give you an example of that, Countrywide a few months ago sort of ran some analysis and some survey figures, and what they reported is that whilst there's been a reduction of around 150,000 landlords over the last 12 months, actually the number of buy-to-let properties has increased over the same period by about 170,000 properties. So what we're certainly seeing is this shift towards professional property investors with larger portfolios. And you could say that actually that's government sort of action, that's government intervention, having that effect and having that desired effect of professionalisation of the private rental sector in the buy-to-let market. I think we've seen lenders really respond to that. So if we go back a couple of years, if you look at Moneyfacts data and you go back a couple of years, you'll see that for limited companies, and we're certainly seeing more new property investment, at least in limited company structure rather than individual. And 2 years ago there was only around 80 limited company products on the buy-to-let market.
Yeah, now was it double that?
And now it's about 3 times that. It's almost 300 property products for limited company property investment in the market. So we're certainly seeing this shift towards professionalism of the market.
So how will the new HMO licence requirements impact the market?
Yeah, so this is effective now actually. These came in this month, and therefore if you're an HMO landlord with an HMO property that now requires a licence, actually that licence should now have been applied for. And under the old rules, a property needed a licence if you had more than 5 tenants in a property that had more than 5 stories. And that's now changed to more than 3 stories.
So that's a lot of stories.
Yes, it's a lot of stories. So that's now changed, and actually the property size requirement has been removed. So now if you're an HMO landlord and you have more than 5 tenants, you now really need an HMO licence, and also to comply with minimum room sizes. So again, we see this as bringing more professionalism to the market. You know, there are some sectors that could say that HMOs have a bit of a mixed bag of reputation, and therefore this change that's brought new licensing into effect really will be seen as more professionalism of the market. And for those professional landlords running quality HMOs, this is business as usual. So we see it being little change. We are seeing more landlords shift towards HMOs, really chasing higher yields, and therefore landlords who are looking to invest in an HMO property for the first time really need to be aware of these licensing requirements.
Okay. As it stands, onto bridging, are there too many lenders currently competing for the same pool of business? I think we've seen more lenders going into development finance. Perhaps they've not been getting enough business in their previous space.
Certainly, I think we've certainly seen more lenders enter the bridging market, but it's a growing market. And we actually...
The development market, you mean?
The bridging market.
Oh, you're still seeing more lenders in the bridging market?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we are seeing more lenders enter into the bridging market, and we think that's a good thing. So that competition that brings will bring innovation, and we also see that it brings choice, and therefore that's a good thing. And and I think it's a sign that bridging is becoming kind of very mainstream in sort of market appeal, and for professional property investors. Really, this is part of their natural cycle of investment, and therefore we will see lenders actually lend across the cycle of the property investment. So I think what we'll start to also see is more of that innovation lead to things like bridge to let, build to let, development to let, actually supporting professional property investors through the cycle of their property investment cycle, and that's got to be a good thing for the market.
Okay. So what's happening at Lendinvest now?
We've been in the market now for 10 years, and we specialise in the property investor market. So we launched into buy-to-let a year ago, and that's exactly why these changes that we've been talking about, of the professionalisation of the marketplace, is really why we entered the buy-to-let market 12 months ago. We're funded by a mix of capital, institutional capital and private capital. So we've just closed our latest range of funding line, and we've attracted over 150 million of new investment from private investors and from institutional capital. And so today actually we've launched and announced some changes to our buy-to-let proposition. You know, a year in, we're ready now to really look to increase our distribution reach, and that's what we want to do. A year into buy-to-let, we really want to now sort of like increase that distribution and become a mainstream buy-to-let lender. And so we've brought out some product innovation, really around the rates on our 5-year fixed, around our product fees, and actually around supporting portfolio landlords in particular, helping them with the valuation costs, helping them with the legal costs, but also helping them helping brokers make those applications for those portfolio landlord clients. So easing the process and making that kind of process far easier for them. So we're positioning ourselves now really, really firmly into the buy-to-let market.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much.
That's great. Thank you.